Hello, genealogist. It's Craig again. So today, it's going to be a quick one. We're going to talk about census substitutes. In other words, where there isn't a census, and there are a lot of places where there aren't censuses, either because by year it was lost, or there was the 1890 disappeared, those kinds of things. So what would you do if you didn't have a census? What could take its place? Well, Heritage Books has a few books published that are identified as 1890 reconstructed census for various states. I'm not talking about those. Today, what I want to talk about is the third edition of Census Substitutes and State Census Records by William Dollarhide. And this comes in 5 volumes. There's one for, volume 1 is Northeastern States and U.S. Territories. Volume 2 is Southeastern United States. Volume 3 is North Central. And Volume 4 is South Central and Four Corner States. I think I know what Four Corner States are. I think that's where the 4 states come together in straight lines in the West, I think. And then Volume 5 is Western and Pacific States and Nationwide Chapter. It's not clear to me exactly, because I just noticed this for the first time, what Nationwide Chapter is. But it includes maps, descriptions, and internet access for the U.S. federal censuses 1790 to 1950 and Part 2 U.S. Census Substitutes. And when you go farther into that, it just provides some stuff that doesn't get provided anywhere else. I was interested specifically in 2 states, and they're in the southeastern United States volume. These things sell for $34.95, and they're published by Family Roots. Heritage Books has just started to carry all of Family Roots products, so I now have a couple of bookcases full of Family Roots stuff. I can't wait to talk about the German and Swiss and Luxembourg parish registers at some point. So when we look at the 2 states that I'm probably most familiar with, other than Virginia, we get a sense of what we're talking about in regards to what kinds of things he's providing. So for Maryland, he talks about early settlers of Maryland. Well, that works. A supplement to early settlers of Maryland. That one is very hard to find. It's published by the State Archives and has been out of print for a while. But I think they've put it up on the website as Introduction to New Early Settlers of Maryland. So you can get to it that way. So it's on their website. Then various indexes of early settlers of Maryland by Daughters of the American Revolution, Baltimore chapter, filled by the Genealogical Society of Utah. So that might be available online. And then General Index to the Wills of St. Mary's County, Maryland, online database. And Maryland Register of Wills, online database, all at Family Search. Ark and Dove, printed book, that one's from GPC, passenger list. So none of these are from when there was a census. So there's a huge amount of colonial material, pre-census, pre-federal census material available in each one of these books at the state level, given that they were colonies to begin with. And it just goes for page after page after page before you even get to 1790, which is what we would be specifically looking for. So basically what we have in each one of these books is a bibliography of what product, meaning books, digital images, tax lists, websites that are on websites, tax lists that are on books, those kind of things can be used to get to census material. Then when we get to 1790 and all the tax lists before it, he talks about the U.S. Circuit Court criminal case files, which is on Ancestry. Then Washington County, Maryland Obituary Index. This is a database out of the Washington Free Library, accessible from Ancestry, and it explains why I can't sell that book anymore. I haven't sold one in years for the Washington County, Maryland Obituary Index. But if you wanted it in book form, it's available from Heritage Books. Washington County, Maryland Obituary Locator. That's us. Although it's identified as Willow Bend Books, that was the company before Heritage Books. Marriage records of Allegheny, tax assessments of Allegheny. So county by county, he provides material, including Maryland federal naturalization records, marriages and deaths from the Baltimore newspapers, Maryland probate and estate guardianship files, tax lists, all those kinds of things. So basically, in my mind, the use of the word census substitute in this book and state census records is a misnomer. From the perspective of, yes, surely you can substitute for a census, but why bother? You're going to be looking at these materials anyway, and on a state-by-state basis, these books provide you a basis for going forward in order to identify individual people in specific places at specific times. And isn't that what genealogy is all about? At least I think that's what it's all about, finding a person in a place and time. And this, basically, what I will use this for is I will use it to trigger me to tell me what I haven't looked at yet. Because trying to keep everything possible to look at in your head at one time is a phenomenal problem. Fortunately, I'm lucky in that my brain works fairly well still. And if I touch something, I remember it. I don't remember its content, but I remember that it exists, and therefore I can go look for it. And that's one of the things that works for me. So these contain not only published works, but online resources, whether they be in free subscription databases or paid subscription databases. So pretty much it's the gamut of what there is that lists a whole bunch of places with a whole bunch of names at a specific time. And that's what we want. So therefore, this has been Craig with Just Genealogy, talking for a few minutes about the third edition of Census Substitutes and State Census Records. It's a 5-volume set. It doesn't come as a set. They come individually, so you can get whatever you need. And I will see you tomorrow.